Okay. I think I'm on. Let me go looking at my eyeballs. All right. This is Chong, and I've been looking at volcano videos and different things going on. And when I found something very interesting in my travels through YouTube, there's all these underground volcanoes that made an island, and it was right by in the close to China territory, but it was all these underground volcanoes that just been going off, and they built an island. It kind of evolved, and I don't know how it happened from the seafloor, but nature made an island. And China and Japan were fighting over the territory. And I guess it was close enough to Japan territory where it's Japan's new territory, but they don't know how stable the land is. And I was thinking of the story of Bangladesh, and then I was researching more YouTube videos on Noah's Ark, and they were saying that Noah's Ark was more like Middle Eastern areas, and they were going and they did like sky views to try to look for this Noah's Ark, and of course the religious community doesn't like it. And then when they do find things that are true from the Bible and have proof, if it's not exactly in the parables of the Bible, they get all bent out of shape. So, anyways, I'm thinking if the end of the world's not really the end of the world, the new world would be maybe if whatever we're doing to the environment, maybe they did see future events. I don't know. But if they did sort of see in the future and had some kind of like intuition, maybe they seen like city the reason that ship of Megaladesh was there.
Oh, you bitch!
And it was built was because possibly land was falling into the sea and coming up. And they were afraid the animals were going to drown and there'd be no animal life. But there is proof that there was a boat. And that was from the story of King Megaladesh. So, and a lot of times different Bibles repeat themselves through history. It happens all the time. The same story recycles. So I'm thinking maybe the world has done this a lot and we just don't know it because one literally just appeared. It evolved and came up, but the volcano brought it up. Maybe this randomly happened back in the age before, our all of our scientific advancements and nobody knew what it was. So when they seen an island disappear, they thought it was an act of God, but maybe it was a volcano. Maybe it's a show that there's too much of some chemical around. That's my scientific assumption of this. And believe you me, I'm not an expert of anything. I know about science enough that I went to school and learned things, but I am not a scientist. I didn't do a thesis on this. I didn't do a 100-page report on any of this. I just put pieces together like Scooby Doo over here.
Fuck.
And I try to find the actual answer. And am I honestly thinking that this is what happened? I'm thinking that
they fucking
the city of Atlantis
pumped him up,
sunk to the bottom of the ocean at one point in time. So maybe some of these lost cities,
well, I was gonna say, then again,
are just coming out from the ocean, and they were there and they're coming up, and we don't, and maybe like the stuff on the land or whatever. Maybe this is just different lands recycling. I don't know. But it was in the news. It was on. I've seen a YouTube thing about it, and it was a good enough set of land that it had Japan and China arguing.
Oh, is it?
So I'm honestly thinking this is how maybe they thought the world came to an end because things, because pieces of land were sinking in. And they didn't know about underground volcanoes. That makes so much sense. And the thought occurred to me, so I figure I should start streaming. And maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But if things, I mean, we know the story of Atlantis, we know the story of Pompeii, where those lovers, they was kissing each other as the lava was hitting them and they turned to a statue. I mean, we know about these volcanoes on land. We know they're under the ground. We know that there's magma at the core of our earth. It would just make sense. And I'm not saying there's not a God out there, but I'm saying maybe that they foreseen the end of the world was when there would be cities in different states just sinking in the damn ocean. Maybe, and if I was lived back then and didn't know what I know now, I would think it's an act of God. And I would think the end of the world was coming if I seen where I live just go under. And maybe if they did see a future, and that's why they are doing this end of the world conspiracies. Because I'm not a conspirator, but I'm just trying to think logic where people would think this. And I'm honestly thinking that's the way things are. And maybe someone did foresee something. But like one of my friends told me when we were talking, if you were from the past and you seen our war, all of our war planes and tanks, and you were seeing into the future and you weren't from the future, you would think the end of the world is coming. Especially if you lived in that time period, especially 1300s. And God, we're going past earlier than 1300s and stuff with the Egyptians. And if one of them wasn't to it enough to see what was going to happen in the future, you would think the world was ending. I would. I seen weapons of mass destruction and pieces of land sinking and then pieces of land coming up making islands. I would think the apocalypse was coming. So I really don't think the apocalypse is coming, but I think a major
Marquee
earth change is happening. I don't know if
74
it's all our
sent
fault.
you a friend request.
I think it might just be a natural thing. Or we're disrupting the lava flow somehow and the magma from the earth. I don't know. There's either disruption or it's a natural occurrence. But I think it's what we're doing wherever to aggravate this for an island just appear, but it could be just a natural thing. I don't know. So honestly, the end of the world isn't gonna. I don't think it's gonna come from a meteor. If anything, I just think random pieces of land are gonna sink into the water, and this is just how it's gonna be. Or all the more volcanoes are going to go off. I think we're going to be taken out by volcanoes, if anything, and we're doing something to make it to where they're more and more happening. Because those were the ones, I think it was a year or two in Alaska that went off. And they were they were really big volcanoes. And how many, and maybe it's not us destroying the environment or with these, because all you hear about is these icebergs. Every day it's about these icebergs. And they say the greenhouse effect. let's just put aside this greenhouse effect for a minute. If an underwater volcano can make a whole entire island come up,
That's a different breed with that team.
possibly. I mean,
you got the crack.
if they can melt ice, they can make the water warmer. Maybe all that drilling that we do in the Antarctic and Alaska, maybe all that drilling is aggravating the volcanoes. And I know there's drilling because every time I look at a video about Alaska, they're drilling something all the time. And you should not drill that deep. Maybe they're putting holes where they're not supposed to be putting holes. Maybe there's a certain place that's supposed to stay sealed up and they're letting out gases, putting all these holes. I don't know.
Right. And honestly, bro,
I could be crazy.
I don't know, one time I was downtown, right?
But we shouldn't be tampering with things like this, and maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's not them putting holes in stuff, but I guess if you put enough holes in something,
he's like, yo,
it's like bread.
I want at least
when it rises, it's going to flatten out.
I'm like, my guy, look. I'm like, you getting this shit?
I mean, I could be crazy.
Nah, you check me now. Nah, I'm like,
but instead of flattening out, it's letting out gas, and that's what happens when you make bread.
See if I can get me like
when it gets over, and before it rises, if you put holes, it's going to flatten out, but it's giving out a gas.
Being honest, here you go, man. I said,
so
being honest.
Honestly, if you're going to give out gases like that, possibly.
The first thing he said to me too, bro,
maybe that's the thing that's doing this whole greenhouse effect, but it's doing it from under the ground. Like, we never thought about it. We think everything happens in the air. Possibly this happens, and we know for sure now it happens under the ground. So if it's going to happen under the ground and give out gas, it's going to change the temperature of the water.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a scientist. I don't have these coordinates, but that's where logic would take me.
Bottle of whiskey.
So,
let me tell you.
I don't know. Choir minds want to know.
Oh.
If you have any idea about if the volcanoes are doing this, please leave your comments on the stream, because I don't know if that's a random coincidence or it isn't. I used to think it was the black holes that was the issue. I don't think it is. But then I was between volcanoes and the black holes. Then I was on one of my streams on, I think it was Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. And this one guy said the black holes would affect the gravitational pull. It would not affect us. So I'm thinking they're saying holes in our ozone, but I don't think that's the issue. If we're talking about water temperature, I'm thinking instead of holes in the ozone, I'm thinking it's holes in the ocean.
What, bro?
Or just something in the ocean that's giving out a certain gas. I mean, I could be wrong. And there's research teams all over the place trying to figure it out. But I mean, to me, that's a very distinct possibility that we're creating the problem by trying to learn from the problem. And maybe whatever we're doing, maybe we're accidentally hitting spots we're not supposed to be hitting. Because if you think about it, it's like cooking. You know, you have hot boiling water being held at bay. Someone pokes the right hole, it's letting that out, and you're creating little holes. And they were saying with this island that just appeared.
Now, if it was Tiffany now.
They were saying this island.
Ain't that right?
You know, they didn't know that you don't know when an underground volcano's going off. You don't know. You really don't. You could be reversing the flow of the lava the more you aggravate it. And we got a lot of machines and stuff that can go very deep. I mean, they're drilling for oil all the time. I mean, not there, but other places, but they have enough for them to go to the bottom ocean and drill. And we're drilling in different areas all the time. Just like Yellowstone. They were saying they have higher, I don't know, higher numbers of something. And they think that Yellowstone's getting more active. But they're always drilling for things. And they're drilling all the time. What if it's not coming from above, it's coming from
Oh, you
below?
little fucking shithead, Chucky. What's up? What's up?
I mean, that's
What's up,
the
bitch?
thing. Maybe all this is our own destruction and we're just not, I don't know.
Oh, get fucked, bitch. You missed.
I guess we're not really
Go.
seeing it could be coming from the bottom, and this thing and with this island making an appearance. Honestly, I think that's a wake up call to send a research team out and try to figure out, you know, maybe the areas around where water's being affected, but we would never know if a volcano was going off in the bottom of the ocean. How could we? Oh, excuse me, it's allergies. But I've been really thinking hard about it, and I've been researching all these black holes, and the guy was right that the black holes would not affect the water. Just the gravitational pull, and our gravitational pull is just fine. So I think our problem is what we're actually causing for our own selves. So maybe, I don't know, some smart people go out there and figure out the numbers and stop drilling so much until we find out more research on how this is infecting the environment.
Close.
Because they were saying these underground volcanoes are destroying marine life, and China and Japan are really upset and disturbed, and they're fearful of their wildlife because they said even though this island came up, it was polluting the marine life. And they have dolphins over there, and they have a lot of nice marine life that they just don't want dead. So I don't know. And if it is the problem, and I am right about the drilling, Yellowstone's next. Because they drill everywhere. They're drilling for minerals. They're drilling for natural resources. They engineer our world. What if one day we drill and we drill too much and one of these volcanoes, I mean, what if the underground and the above go off at the same time? If that happened and enough of these volcanoes go off at once, it's not going to be a pretty world for none of us. It's going to be pretty horrific. I mean, usually you go to the water to get cooled off. If this happens in this event and we keep drawing, I mean, that's a worst case scenario. I mean, I'm hoping it doesn't happen, and I hope I'm crazy. But if you go in the water and you're boiling up because the volcano's going on, and the volcano's going on above ground, either way, you're going to die. I mean, hopefully it doesn't get that bad. Because we got a lot of icebergs that are just melting at rates. They say it's the continental shift. I'm not sure if it's that. I know I get the continental shift. We wouldn't notice that happens so subtly. I'm thinking they're doing something to aggravate some kind of ecosystem over there with all their research studies. Because I've been on YouTube listening to all these research people, And they show all their big, gigantic drills, and they go through sheets of ice, and they get them all the way to the bottom of the ocean. And they do this quite often. And that drill is huge. It's bigger than a ship. I mean, that research team got a lot of money, whatever they're researching over there, because Antarctica, I read somewhere too, and that no one really owns Antarctica. It's untouchable. Because pretty much just polar bears are there, and I do want to remind everyone the polar bears are not doing well. They might be going extinct because of all these issues with the ice. So we might not have no more polar bears. But putting aside with polar bears, they have these huge machines going in there. We don't know what's going on. And the only thing allowed in Antarctica is research teams and scientists. And the governments don't even fight over Antarctica because it's so undiscovered, and they just don't want to deal with it. They got enough of their own problems, I guess. That's what I would think. But they have this treaty where no one touches Antarctica. They have found a lot of stuff. Antarctica was once, and I did read that because I've been studying about Antarctica for, I don't know, about 3 months. But the one mountain they thought was a temple, it wasn't. It was an actual real mountain, like the Rocky Mountains in Appalachian. And they're finding there was evidence of plant life, and it was like Florida. So, and we already know that a meteor hit the earth, and that's how the ice age happened. But how do we know the meteor there was just one? Maybe there was two. Maybe there was a meteor that hit in Antarctica and hit somewhere else at the same time, and that's why the dinosaurs had problems. And it makes sense. It's on the tip of everything. The tip of our axis is Antarctica and our poles. But Antarctica plays a huge, huge role. And it's very important because there's a whole civilization that lived there. There's a whole ecosystem living under that ice. And they look like plankton. And there's a lot of stuff we don't know that's unknown. It's like Darwin's playground over there that's frozen. They're finding species they're finding under the ice, and when they bring up samples, no one knows what they are. And the thing is we don't know what kind of dinosaurs were down in there. We don't know, these could be prehistoric creatures. And the thing is we could be going in. I think their problem, ours is the drilling, and maybe that it shook the ocean up, and then a meteor would do this. I mean, they're pretty nasty. They're coming, they're putting a whole hole in the earth. So I'm honestly thinking that wasn't their fault, the ice age. But if anything, I think that if we got to find out what's going on. We got a gradual climatary increase. And then some of these, some countries that are usually really cold are going on slight temps that are a little bit colder or a little bit warmer. But it's always off base a little bit, and it starts with the water. I mean, that's how my calculations are putting together. I think that there's a lot of underground volcanoes going off, and we're not realizing the implications. We're not even realizing when they're going off, and they're putting a lot of CO2 into the ocean, and I don't know if there's volcanic ash, but I guess it would get absorbed in the water. So it's going to kill off and poison the water. And more animals are going to die. And there's a lot of marine life dying, and we're blaming it on the plastics. But yeah, it is horrible to do. Just put plastic in the water. But that many animals should not die from that. I'm thinking these volcanoes are going off. And they even said, the researchers said, you wouldn't know if we don't know what happens in the bottom of the ocean. We got to get stuff to go down there. So there could be a volcano going off right now in the bottom of an ocean. And who's going to know? But these are just my daily assumptions as I'm thinking and pondering and looking at things. But, let me know if you're a science guru. I know the black holes aren't causing none of the water, but now I'm down to volcanoes. So and I'm gonna try to do Chong playlists, because I notice everybody has all these little music playlists. So I'm gonna put the music that I like and that I think's kind of unique, and different artists. I'm gonna look for different artists on YouTube and stuff and put little playlists to listen to try to promote like different kinds of people, that aren't batshit crazy conspiracy theorists, that are actually doing maybe something cool in the world instead of worrying about volcanoes and black holes like me. Because I really wake up thinking about these volcanoes and black holes and things. I'm not cool. I'm very weird, so. But these are my assumptions, and I've been going through a lot of data, and we're increasing. I've noticed worldwide, it's a slight increase. It's 0.05%. And believe you don't think that's a big deal. But 0.05% isn't a full number, but you do that every single year. After 20 years, you got climatory change. And then with this climatory change, other things on the earth react to everything. The earth is one big ecosystem. It's alive. The whole earth's alive. Plants are alive. It's life. And the earth is alive with us. So you have all these volcanoes and all this stuff going on in the world. And there's a shift in the earth. It's going in just that slight change over 10, 20 years' time might cause a volcano to go off. A big one. Not the little ones. We got to worry about Yellowstone. Those ones in Antarctica were huge. Huge. I was watching videos of that, and I love watching weird stuff like this. But I watched those volcanoes.
Oh, why?
And they spewed out lava like you wouldn't believe.
Featuring on the Coco.
You gotta watch it. And it's really wonderful. I mean, it's not wonderful, but I like to watch Earth repair itself. I mean, that probably wasn't helping matters with the icebergs, with those volcanoes going off. That probably was not helping our cause. It could be nothing.
Oh, okay.
You really couldn't. It could just be just a random coincidence. So, I don't know.
Right.
But honestly, these volcanoes are just something we should look out for. And if you know what to look for when you're searching for answers.
Blind motherfucker. Yeah, now you want
my
this
husband's
ass.
streaming.
Now you want this Coco.
Well, he's not streaming. I'm sorry. He's playing his video games.
You big man. You big man.
And I kind of want to get my stream in with my ideas about these
Your mother was
volcanoes.
a whore. Pyramid head.
So, and I'm going to try to do some bracelets. So, I don't know. But honestly...
Oh, get fucked! Oh, get that wood, baby. What's up, motherfucker?
I got about 30 minutes in. I'm going to...
You still trying to get this cocoa ass?
I'm going to stream again tomorrow. And...
Oh, shit.
On my other stream that I did, I'm probably
going
to delete that one because there was just too much going on.
Flashlight you again, motherfucker. What's up?
When he was attempting to try to stream, so I just if that goes through, it doesn't go through, I'm deleting it. I'm just gonna keep this one. I just want to share my ideas about what I think's going on with the environment. And I don't want to be right. I really don't want me. I want someone to come and tell me I'm not right. Because if I'm right, we're all in trouble.
Oh, gosh.
So, and I don't want us to be in trouble, and I'd rather just be wrong at this point. So, I'm going to end the stream. And then I'm going to start a couple bracelets. So let me find this button up here. Alright, I know my glasses are crooked. Okay, here we go. So you guys have a good day. And let me know what you think about the volcano theories. If I'm onto something, or if I'm not. I don't know. Just let me know. And if someone has any good ideas to why these volcanoes are, and let me know, because I would like to know. I want to know truth then. I'm just saying that these are my personal scientific thoughts, but I don't have all the data. If there's someone out there that has data, I would be so excited if you had data on this. I would really love if a volcanoist was watching this and let me know about the volcanoes. Because I need somebody that's studying volcanoes, or maybe has drilled in Alaska. That would even be better. That would be so awesome. I would be so grateful to you for the information. But I'm going to let you guys go, and I'll do another stream tomorrow and try to do some more arts or crafts because I'm really kind of tired. But I want to get my thoughts about the volcanoes out. And I'm going to end this, and I hope everybody has a good day. And I'll be on tomorrow. I promise.
What's the convenience? Look at that.